My beloved brothers and sisters, every single one of us is walking a path written by Allah long before we were even born. Sometimes that path feels smooth. Sometimes it feels like a storm that never ends. But let me remind you of something powerful. Allah does not make mistakes. You may be sitting today worried, heartbroken, confused, asking yourself, why is this happening to me? But the truth is, your question should not be, why me? It should be, what is Allah preparing me for? Because every delay has wisdom. Every hardship carries a hidden gift. Every closed door is not a rejection. It is protection. You wanted something so badly, you prayed for it day and night. You thought it was the best for you. But Allah, the one who knows what you don't know, took it away. And it hurt. It broke you. But what if I told you that thing you cried over might have destroyed you? Allah sees the future you cannot see. He knows the pain you are being saved from. And that is why when you accept Allah's plan, truly accept it, your heart finds a peace that nothing in this world can give. My dear brothers and sisters, acceptance does not mean you stop making effort. No. You strive, you work, you pray, you try your best. But in your heart, you say, Ya Allah, I trust you completely. That trust is called Tawakkul. And when you have Tawakkul, something beautiful happens. Even in your lowest moments, you don't break. You bend, but you don't collapse. Because you know Allah is in control. Remember the stories of the prophets. They were tested more than anyone else. They lost, they struggled, they cried. But they never lost hope in Allah. And that is why Allah raised them. So if you feel like you're at your lowest today, then listen carefully. This might be the exact moment before your eyes. Because Allah does not burden a soul more than it can bear. The weight you are carrying right now, it is custom made for you. It is building you, shaping you, preparing you. The pain you feel today is not the end of your story. It is just a chapter. A chapter that will one day make sense. A chapter you will look back on and say, now I understand why Allah did that. So stop fighting what Allah has written. Stop resisting His plan. Instead, embrace it, accept it, trust it. Because the moment you accept Allah's plan, you rise. You rise above your fears. You rise above your worries. You rise above your past. And most importantly, you rise in the eyes of Allah. So hold on, be patient, keep making dua, keep believing. Because your story is not over yet. And the one writing your story is the best of planners. There are moments in life when things don't go the way you planned. And it leaves you feeling confused, hurt, and even questioning everything you believed in. You made dua, you worked hard, you had hope in your heart, yet the outcome was not what you expected. It is in these exact moments that your faith is truly being tested. Not when everything is going well, but when things fall apart and you are still asked to believe that there is goodness in what Allah has chosen for you. You need to understand something very deep. Allah sees what you cannot see. Your vision is limited to what is in front of you today. But Allah's knowledge covers your past, your present, and your future. You may be crying over something that didn't happen, while Allah is protecting you from something far worse that you cannot even imagine. What feels like a loss to you might actually be a shield from unseen harm. Sometimes Allah delays something not because He wants to deny you, but because He knows you are not ready for it yet. If He gave it to you too early, it might break you instead of benefit you. And sometimes He removes something from your life because it was never meant to stay, no matter how attached you were to it. That removal hurts, but within that pain is a mercy that only becomes clear with time. Think about the times in your past when something didn't work out the way you wanted. At that moment, it felt like the end of the world. But later you realized it was actually the best thing that could have happened. This is how Allah's plan works. It unfolds in a way that you may not understand immediately, but eventually the wisdom becomes clear. The real strength of a believer is not in avoiding pain, but in trusting Allah through that pain. When your heart is heavy and your mind is full of questions, you remind yourself, Allah knows and I do not know. This belief brings a type of peace that cannot be explained. It doesn't remove the difficulty instantly, but it gives you the strength to endure it. Allah's plan is always perfect, even when it hurts, because His decisions are based on complete knowledge and perfect wisdom. He is not limited like you. He does not guess. He does not make mistakes. Every single thing that happens in your life is placed with precision, with purpose, and with care. So instead of resisting what has already been written, learn to trust it. Accept that even in your pain, there is goodness. Even in your confusion, there is guidance. And even in your hardship, there is a path being paved for something greater. One day, you will look back at what hurt you the most and realize it was actually what saved you. And in that moment, your heart will be filled with gratitude because you will finally see that Allah's plan was perfect all along. Every delay in your life carries a meaning even if you cannot see it right now. You may feel like you are stuck, watching others move ahead while you remain in the same place, making the same du'as, waiting for the same doors to open. It can be frustrating, even painful, to feel like your life is not progressing the way you hoped. But what you perceive as delay is not neglect. It is not abandonment. It is precise timing designed by Allah, who knows exactly when each piece of your life should fall into place. Sometimes what you are asking for is already written for you, but Allah is holding it back because the timing is not right yet. If it came too early, you might not appreciate it, or worse, it might harm you. There are moments when you think you are ready for something, but deep down, you are still being prepared. That preparation often comes in the form of waiting, and waiting is never easy. It tests your patience, your faith, and your trust in Allah. Hardships also carry hidden wisdom that often reveals itself much later. When you go through a difficult phase, it may feel like everything is falling apart. But in reality, something inside you is being built. Your strength is increasing. Your dependence on Allah is growing. Your understanding of life is deepening. These are things that comfort cannot teach you. Only hardship can shape you in this way. When you face challenges, you begin to see your own weaknesses and strengths more clearly. You turn to Allah more sincerely. Your du'as become more heartfelt. You start realizing that your control is limited and that true control belongs only to Allah. This realization is not a loss. It is a powerful gain. It brings you closer to your Creator in a way that ease never could. Delays also protect you from rushing into things that are not meant for you. You might be eager to move forward, to make a decision, to take a step, but Allah holds you back because He sees what lies ahead. He knows the consequences that you are unaware of. So what feels like being held back is actually being guided. What feels like being stopped is actually being saved. There is also wisdom in how delays build your character. They teach you patience. And patience is one of the most valuable qualities a believer can have. They teach you perseverance, the ability to keep going, even when the outcome is uncertain. They teach you humility, reminding you that you are not in control of everything, and that is not a weakness. It is a reality that brings you closer to peace. One day the delay will end, the door will open, the dua will be answered in a way that surprises you. And when that moment comes, you will realize that everything happened at the perfect time. You will understand that if it had come earlier, it would not have been as meaningful, as beneficial, or as complete. Until that day, hold on to the belief that every delay and every hardship carries a purpose. Even when you cannot see it, even when it does not make sense, trust that there is wisdom behind it. Because Allah never delays without reason, and He never tests without a plan for something better ahead. There is something incredibly powerful about placing your trust in Allah, especially when life feels uncertain and overwhelming. It is easy to say you trust Allah when everything is going well, when your plans are working out and your heart is at ease. But real trust, true tawakkul, shows itself when things don't go your way, when you are surrounded by difficulty, and when the outcome is unclear. That is when your connection with Allah becomes real, deep, and transformative. Tawakkul is not about sitting back and doing nothing. It is not about giving up on effort or ignoring responsibility. Instead, it is about doing everything within your ability, working hard, making sincere dua, taking the right steps, and then leaving the results completely in the hands of Allah. It is a balance between action and surrender. You act with determination, but your heart rests in the knowledge that Allah is in control. When you truly develop this kind of trust, something beautiful happens inside you. The constant anxiety about outcomes begins to fade. The fear of what if things go wrong loses its grip on your heart. You start to understand that whatever happens is already written, and whatever Allah has written is ultimately for your good, even if you don't understand it right away. This trust brings a deep sense of inner peace that cannot be found in worldly success, wealth, or approval from others. It is a calmness that settles in your heart, reminding you that you are not alone in your struggles. Allah is always there, guiding you, protecting you, and managing every detail of your life with perfect wisdom. When you have tawakkul, you stop overthinking every situation. You stop exhausting yourself, trying to control things that are beyond your control. Instead, you focus on what you can do, and you leave the rest to Allah. This shift in mindset lifts a huge burden off your shoulders. You no longer carry the weight of the entire outcome. You only carry the responsibility of your effort. Even in moments of pain, this trust gives you strength. When something doesn't work out, you don't fall into despair. Instead, you remind yourself that Allah chose this for a reason. You may feel hurt, but you are not broken. You may feel disappointed, but you are not hopeless. Because deep inside, you believe that Allah's plan is better than your own. Tawakkul also strengthens your relationship with Allah. The more you rely on Him, the more you turn to Him in both ease and hardship. Your du'as become more sincere, your connection becomes stronger, and your faith becomes more grounded. You begin to see Allah's hand in everything, in what you receive and in what you are denied. Over time, this trust changes the way you view life. You no longer measure success only by what you gain, but by how close you are to Allah. You understand that sometimes the greatest blessings come in forms you did not expect, and sometimes the greatest protection comes through things not happening. When tawakkul becomes a part of your heart, peace follows naturally. It is not a temporary feeling, but a steady state of contentment that stays with you through every high and low. And that peace is one of the greatest gifts a believer can ever experience. There are times in life when you lose something you deeply wanted, something you felt was perfect for you, something you believed would make you happy. It could be a person, an opportunity, a job, or even a dream you held on to for years. When it is taken away or doesn't work out, the pain can feel overwhelming. You question why it happened, why your dua was not answered the way you hoped, and why something that seemed so good was removed from your life. But what you fail to see in that moment is that what you lost may actually have been a form of protection. Allah, in His infinite knowledge, sees beyond what your eyes can perceive. You only see the surface, the happiness you imagined, the success you expected, the comfort you desired. But Allah sees the hidden consequences, the unseen dangers, the long-term impact that you could never fully understand. What you thought was a blessing may have carried harm within it, and what you see as a loss may actually be saving you from pain that would have been far greater. Sometimes Allah removes people from your life because they were not meant to stay. You may have been emotionally attached, you may have invested your time and energy, and you may have built hopes around them. But if Allah distances them from you, it is not because He wants to hurt you, it is because He wants to protect your heart from something you cannot yet see. Holding on to what Allah has removed only prolongs your pain. Letting go, on the other hand, opens the door for something better, something more suitable for your life. There are also moments when you are denied opportunities you were certain were right for you. You prepared for them, you prayed for them, and you envisioned your future around them. When they don't happen, it feels like everything is falling apart. But what if that opportunity would have led you down a path that distanced you from Allah? What if it would have brought stress, regret, or even harm into your life? Allah knows the outcomes of every path, and He chooses for you based on His perfect wisdom, not your limited understanding. Loss teaches you something very important, that not everything you desire is meant for you, and that is not a weakness or a failure. It is a form of divine care. Allah is guiding your life in a way that aligns with what is best for your faith, your well-being, and your future. Even if you cannot see it now, there is goodness in what has been taken away. With time, you will begin to notice that what you lost created space for something else. It might be a new opportunity, a better relationship, or a stronger connection with Allah. Sometimes the greatest blessings enter your life only after something else leaves. But you cannot receive what is meant for you if you are still holding on to what was never yours. Accepting this reality is not easy, but it is liberating. It allows you to move forward without bitterness, without regret, and without constantly looking back. You begin to trust that whatever Allah removes is not a punishment, but a form of mercy. And whatever He gives you in return will be better in ways you may not have expected. One day you will look back at what you lost and feel grateful that it didn't stay. You will realize that it was never meant to complete you, but to teach you, to redirect you, and to protect you. And in that realization, your heart will find peace, knowing that Allah was always looking out for you, even when you didn't understand it. Life has a way of testing you in moments you least expect. One day everything feels stable, and the next you are faced with challenges that shake your confidence, your patience, and even your faith. In those moments, it is easy to feel like you are being pushed down, like life is becoming harder without reason. But what you are experiencing is not meant to break you. It is meant to prepare you for something greater. Tests are not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. In fact, they are often a sign that He is paying special attention to you. Just like a teacher tests the students they want to see succeed, Allah tests those He wants to raise. These tests come in different forms: loss, delays, struggles, disappointments. And each one carries a purpose that goes beyond what you can immediately understand. When you are tested, your inner strength begins to develop. You discover patience you didn't know you had. You find resilience in moments when you thought you would collapse. You begin to rely on Allah more sincerely because you realize that no one else can truly help you in the way He can. This process is not easy, but it is necessary for growth. Think about any strong person you admire. Their strength did not come from comfort or ease. It came from struggle, from facing hardships and pushing through them. In the same way, your current difficulties are shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared for what lies ahead. Without these tests, you would remain at the same level, never unlocking your full potential. Tests also refine your character. They expose your weaknesses so you can work on them. They humble you, reminding you that you are not in control of everything. They teach you gratitude for the things you once took for granted. And most importantly, they strengthen your relationship with Allah. When everything else fades, you turn to Him, and that connection becomes your source of strength. There is also a deeper wisdom behind these challenges. Allah is not just preparing you for success in this world, but also for success in the hereafter. Every moment of patience, every tear you shed, every struggle you endure with faith, all of it is being recorded. Nothing is wasted. Even the pain you feel has value when you face it with trust in Allah. Sometimes you may not see the outcome of your tests immediately. You may wonder when things will get better or when your efforts will finally pay off. But understand this: elevation takes time. Just as a building requires a strong foundation before it can rise, you are being built from within before you are raised externally. The stronger the foundation, the higher you can go. So when you face difficulties, don't see them as obstacles stopping you. See them as steps lifting you. Each challenge is bringing you closer to a version of yourself that is stronger, more patient, and more connected to Allah. It is preparing you for blessings that require a certain level of strength and faith to handle. One day, you will look back at your struggles and realize they were necessary. They were shaping you for a purpose you could not see at the time. And when that realization comes, you will understand that every test you went through was actually a step towards your elevation, not a setback. There comes a point in life where you realize that constantly resisting what has already happened only adds more weight to your heart. You keep replaying situations, wishing things had gone differently, holding on to expectations that were never fulfilled. This inner resistance creates a quiet storm within you, one that drains your energy, clouds your thinking, and steals your peace. But the moment you begin to accept what Allah has willed, something within you starts to change. Acceptance is not about giving up or becoming passive. It is about recognizing that what has already occurred is part of a plan far greater than your own. You may not understand it, you may not like it, and it may not align with what you hoped for. But deep down, you choose to believe that Allah's wisdom is perfect. This belief softens your heart and allows you to let go of the constant struggle against reality. When you accept Allah's will, you free yourself from the burden of why. Instead of questioning every outcome, you begin to focus on how you can move forward. Your energy shifts from frustration to you start asking, what can I learn from this? How can I become better through this? This mindset opens doors that were previously hidden by your resistance. True acceptance also brings clarity. When you stop fighting what is beyond your control, your mind becomes calmer. You are able to think more clearly, make better decisions, and see opportunities that you may have missed before. The noise of frustration fades, and in its place comes a quiet sense of direction. You begin to understand that even if one path is closed, another is being prepared for you. There is a unique kind of strength that comes from acceptance. It is not loud or visible, but it is deeply rooted. It allows you to stand firm. Even when life feels uncertain, you no longer break down over every disappointment because you trust that whatever has happened was meant to happen. This trust builds resilience, making you stronger with every challenge you face. Acceptance also elevates your spiritual state. When you are content with Allah's decree, you are rewarded not only with inner peace, but also with closeness to Him. Your heart becomes more attached to Allah than to the outcomes of this world. You begin to find comfort in your faith rather than in temporary situations. This shift is powerful because it changes what you depend on for happiness. As you practice acceptance, you will notice that your perspective on life begins to transform. You no longer see hardships as punishments, but as part of a journey designed specifically for you. You understand that every experience, whether good or bad, is contributing to your growth. This understanding brings a deep sense of contentment that remains even when circumstances are not perfect. Over time, acceptance leads to a form of success that goes beyond material achievements. It brings stability to your heart, strength to your character, and peace to your mind. You are no longer shaken by every change because you are anchored in your trust in Allah. And from that place of stability, you begin to rise, not just in worldly terms, but in your faith, your mindset, and your overall sense of purpose. In the end, accepting Allah's will does not lower you. It elevates you. It lifts you above the constant stress of trying to control everything and places you in a state of calm trust. And it is from that state that true success begins, because you're aligned with the one who controls all things.